Happy 125th, Howard. As a national model of how small towns will thrive in the 21st century, you make South Dakota proud. Observers call Howard innovative. Why should that surprise anybody? More than anything else, that's Howard's heritage. The first settlers here were remarkable innovators who fine-tuned augers, steam-powered threshing machines, and other technology to revolutionize the world's food production. They helped transform Midwestern fields into the nation's breadbasket. Certainly the native peoples who lived in the vicinity long before Howard's founding in 1881 fully understood the land's richness. They hunted, and there's evidence they grew crops of squash, beans, and corn 1,000 years ago. No doubt Euro-American settlers who came prior to the town's establishment and whose names are lost to history were intrigued by the never-plowed soil. Then a man named Matthew Moore staked claim to the acres where the town sits just a couple years before streets and buildings took form. On July 4th, 1881, residents of the spanking new town gathered to celebrate the holiday and also to name their community. They honored Howard Farmer, the late son of a prominent judge, and himself a promising young law school graduate. In short order, the town established Dakota Territory's first chartered public library and greeted trains that rolled down the new Milwaukee Road track. And in an upset victory in 1882, voters selected Howard over Forestburg as county seat in an era when Forestburg was part of Minor County. It's easy to forget how truly cosmopolitan Howard was in those years. The train delivered people from around the world who were certain they'd create an agricultural wonderland on the virgin prairie. Records tell of families from Denmark, Germany, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, Ireland, Wales, Prussia, Holland, and England, and of course, all sections of the United States. Some of the Americans had survived the nation's epic defining struggle. In 1883, the Grand Army of the Republic organized locally. 116 men enrolled, all veterans of the Civil War. It's likely those old-timers would laugh if they could hear us praising them as innovators. They took more pride in simply being hard workers. Their work ethic by the early 20th century had built a comfortable town surrounded by family farms on every quarter section. Today, if you know where to look and can listen closely, you almost hear echoes of those vibrant years. But by listening closely and imagining, you may hear another echo, that of the Dust Bowl. South Dakota was devastated as winds ripped away dry topsoil and deposited it as fine dust that buried roads and fence lines. Financial depression and grasshoppers added to the misery. The dirty 30s seemed to mock everything South Dakotans had created. But unlike some Great Plains towns, Howard wasn't blown into oblivion. Tom Killian recalled downtown life in the 1930s and 40s, especially life downtown on Saturdays.
The girls especially would go 2 or 3 of them arm in arm and walking around, make sure everybody saw them, wear their finest summer gear, And the boys would all line up and sit on the car fenders or along the front of the drugstores and eye them. And it was a kind of a social encounter. Movies were 10 cents. Every kid had a chance would go to a movie at least. They'd probably go to the early movie, which meant around 6:30, 7 o'clock. It'd be out and 8:30 maybe. And then they could walk around and around the circle on Main Street, up one side and down the other, a couple blocks, round and round. So that everybody would see who everybody was and get to meet everybody that was there and talk.
Sports were another diversion and a tremendous source of community pride. Was there ever a better year in Howard than 1956? That's when both Howard High School and St. Agatha High School won state basketball titles. Howard High won again in 1964. It would be another 4 decades before Howard claimed a state football championship, and by then, of course, it wasn't just boys making Howard proud, but girls' teams as well. Still, there's another kind of sport that trumps everything in Howard: world-class pheasant hunting. In 1965, well-known sportscaster Kurt Gowdy, former Governor Joe Foss, and General Jimmy Doolittle shared the big hunt with a national TV audience.
Surrounding this town and this prairie state are some wonderful farms with corn and grain fields where the ringneck pheasant reside. It's going to be a great hunting season again. Nearly 3 million birds will be shot, but there will always be a great population of birds, 10 million in the state of South Dakota. And truly, the pheasant in this state is a way of life. We'll be back, awaiting the sound of the first shots of the opening of the pheasant hunting season in Howard, South Dakota. What about Mr. Pheasant here? You got them all ready for us?
Well, there's one thing about it. We have a beautiful day today. I was a little bit afraid that we'd get mudded down the way it's been raining the last couple of days.
Wind's kicking up a little. How will that affect the shooting?
Well, actually, that makes the bird a little tougher to hit. And, of course, that's a good excuse for me to miss right now.
TV served as a daily reminder of how fast the world was changing in the late 20th century. There were other signs as well. Lita Trusty recalled the last train to roll through town in 1972.
I heard the train whistle. Oh, there's a... Okay, somebody, take care of the potatoes. They're cooking on this, getting dinner ready. You know, take care of the potatoes and stuff. Watch it. I'm going. The train is going through. It must have been going west and then coming back for the last time. And so I jumped in the car and I went down and sat by the railroad track at the crossing and waited for the train to come. And that was so, it was sad, but it was interesting. And I got pictures of the train coming down the track, right in Howard, coming down the track. And then it got up real close, and I got a real close picture of the last train as it went through. And the conductor, or whatever, no, the engineer. I got the wrong word. Okay, the engineer, he waved at me. So that was a thrill to me, to think. So then it went by me and went on down the track, and I took a picture of it leaving the last time it went through Howard.
To some outside observers, vanishing tracks and other tangible losses were signs that rural America couldn't prosper in the 21st century. Howard and the rest of Minor County saw things differently. Telecommunications, they said, would link Howard and similar towns in ways even the mighty railroads hadn't. New technology would mean telemedicine and a worldwide market for new industries. In one of the most remarkable stories reported from rural America in decades, Minor County community revitalization brought people of all ages and from all backgrounds together to build a future. In 2006, the Rural Learning Center opened to help other communities follow Minor County's lead. Now that's innovation and hard labor, teamwork, defiance of conventional wisdom, and lots of other qualities we South Dakotans admire. So from all of us across the state, congratulations, Howard. Yes, you've got history. And a future.